I'm going to stand up here so y'all can see me. Because if I'm down there, you won't see me. You'll see the top of my head. It's a good 5'4". Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So thanks for, I know it's that afternoon session. It's at 1:30 to 2:30. So I know it tends to happen around that time. I start to see people snoozing off, and I'm pretty quick with my iPhone camera, so I will capture you and post you on social snoring. Just a heads up, right? So today's talk is not just about tech. People put me in a tech box, but I sold real estate since 1988. So we've seen a lot of ups and downs in the business. And back when I started and made a career out of real estate, we actually found out that there's a cash flow problem in real estate. Could you imagine that? A cash flow problem, meaning I got a family and a mortgage. I close 1 or 2 a month, and then 3 months go by without a closing. Some of you know how that feels? Painfully, right? It happens. So I want to not only solve that problem, I want to identify how I fixed it through running my business, how I help it with some of my coaching clients today, which we do day in and day out. Then I'm going to share with you some really cool tech and marketing strategies to nurture those people along. Now, for those who are going to take crazy notes, take pictures of all my slides, I'll save you the time. I'm going to give you all my slides at the end. So feel free to take good notes on ideas, take good notes on strategies, but don't sweat every detail. You'll have every slide in the PDF at the very end. I'll give you a text code. It'll email it right to you. Is that fair? Cool. Well, let's get started. First things first, back in the day, there was obviously a lot of books sharing about wealth, how to create wealth. And you heard all the different books come out say the same thing, that to build wealth, what did you need? You needed multiple streams of income back then. And still to this day, I still believe you need multiple streams of income. Because when one source is running low, the other source is keeping you alive. Some of you get into a few of those, maybe with property management. Some of you do some other things. You do real estate sales, you do rentals, other streams. So what happened to me in my days is I realized that being a problem in real estate, but the business itself has not changed. It's always still been a people business to this day with all the tech and marketing we have alive. However, the problem I had to solve was this. To be successful, I needed to find multiple streams of people. Hence the name of this talk. More specifically, I needed at least 7 streams of people. And I'm going to explain that. I'm going to give you the definition of it. And you're going to understand how it solves the problem. Then I'm going to give you examples of exactly how I did it and some of my methods. Not that they're all right, but I want them to see how you can interpret them into your world. And then we'll take it into how do I nurture them in the marketing space. So that being said, this is some of you from a sales cycle. Tell me if this is the way some of your cash flow goes. Right? You know how that works. It's unfortunate, but that's how, and again, when you make a living at this, when you're trying to, put a kid through college or grandchildren through college. I know that feeling. Those times right there are terrible, and I didn't like it myself, so I had to find a solution to bridge this gap and to make it more of a steady, not that there's any perfect world of, salaries, but to make it more steady and reliable. So doing that, I found out that most people, maybe even in this room, are running their business like this. You're literally one step from falling off the cliff. Some of us in this business are one step from potentially not being able to make a mortgage payment or two or a car payment or two. And I hope it's not us in this room, but I know across the country, it gets intimidating, it's very scary to be in this position. So here's the way most people do transactions. You put 2, 3, 4 transactions up in the pipeline, you put them under contract, and then you're praying that they close for the next 2 or 3 months because you need to get to that payday. Is that how most of it runs? For the most part. Let's go, it's 1:30. How does it run? Typically, right? We focus and we want to get those 2 or 3 deals closed, because if they don't close, we don't get paid. What do most of us stop doing during that time? That's right. We lose all focus on what got us that business. I used to lose focus on what got me those 3 or 4 transactions. What I had to learn is those 3 or 4 transactions created a couple things. It gave me momentum, and it gave me leverage. By having more listings and more inventory, I was able to take those listings and market them while they were under contract or sold. Circle prospect around them. I had to use these as opportunities to leverage those transactions, not stop, focus on the closings, and then have nothing. Right? So momentum was the number one thing. Now, I'm going to show you a picture. Tell me the first word that comes to your mind with this guy. First word.
Crazy.
Crazy, stupid. How about a first sentence? If you were him, what would you be saying? How about this? Don't stop. Don't stop, right? And this is where we tend to fail. We get momentum, we get transactions, and we stop doing the things that got us there. So I found that to be a problem in my own business. I had to find some solutions, and I'm going to share a few with you today. So let's identify what a stream is. This is my theory. It's not something out of a book. A stream to me, and I'll use a lot of nature's pictures with it because that's how relevant I think it is. A stream is a productive group of people that provide me referrals and transactions on a weekly, monthly, or quarterly basis. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Weekly, monthly, so a stream of people, meaning a group of people, where I get those lead sources in that are fairly reliable. That's a stream. Now, you have to identify in my world what kind of stream is it. Because we have a group of people we're affiliated with, we market to, but they're not necessarily, to me, moving or productive. I'm going to give you examples. We have streams that are very stale. We're networking and marketing and doing things that aren't giving us a result, but we keep doing it anyway. Not saying you shouldn't be consistent, but when I say we need 7 streams, when you can get 7 pipelines and streams of revenue and people coming in for referrals, your whole business will change to the point where you'll need help, you'll need buyer's agents, you'll need assistants. It'll be a flurry of business. To me, the most powerful streams are the ones that will provide the consistent referral business. And some of you know who they are in your groups. Some of you know you've been working referrals for years, and you can say, oh, I get a lot of referrals from X, Y, and Z. Right? And I started to realize, I said, if I'm getting referrals from this kind of a group, and I'm doing my 3, 4, 5 transactions a month, I just need more of them. Like, I need more of that group. How do I find more that can do the same thing, where I can get 3 or 4 transactions from another group of people? So I started to identify all this, and Powerful was one of it. So I needed to have more of these multiple resources coming in. Anybody have a group right now that you can identify as a good stream? If you don't mind, just to share, make sure we're getting this. Here. A BNI group, okay? Now, BNI group, and if it provides you that resource and it's powerful enough to do that, it's a stream. That's going to be one of my examples. But we're getting it, right? So if I could duplicate that and get 2 or 3 transactions a month, a quarter, from that kind of a stream of people, it's different. I want to just duplicate that process, right? So the power of all this. Now, I take this into nature because the beauty of what we just saw there, when you get those streams coming in, will take your pipeline to a much better plateau and not only raise it, but stabilize your dips. My goal is to minimize that, right? That is dangerous. That brings in a funk, depression, burnout, trying to start over again each and every time. You know, I have people in my history where they've got no listing inventory. I sold all 3 of my listings, they closed. Now what? You're starting over. You're starting over again. You can't start over again. You've got to keep momentum. Even when it comes to this, some of the biggest lakes in the world, and people don't know this from a nature standpoint, all the biggest lakes in the country and almost in the world, North America, 7 of them to be exact, all fuel one major stream. All of them linked to one stream. What is it? That. You know how powerful that is right there? That's the top producer of today. They have all sorts of streams of revenue coming in, people giving them business. They don't have a magic pill. It's if they have Zillow bringing them leads, if they have Realtor.com, and they're converting leads, and it's beneficial, and you're getting a return. Is that a good stream? People thought, oh, I don't like this company. If I said to you, hey, Realtor.com, are you buying leads from them? Yes. Are you converting them? Yes. Are you getting a return on those conversions? Yes. Great, that's a stream. Don't tell me it doesn't work. If I give you $5,000 and I get 10 in return, is that good? And I always say, I'll just do that all day long. Who can I do it with? The goal is we don't have enough. We have 1 or 2 or 3 sources, and we exhaust ourselves. So, this photo right here is what got me excited about real estate. Believe it or not, geographically, 1988, believe it or not, I got licensed in 88, but in 87, I was working as a sales rep from the States in the Caribbean Islands. That sounds like poor me, right? Flying to the Caribbean Islands. No, it's a lot of work in a suit. I was a young kid, and I was grinding away. However, Desert Storm and all sorts of things killed that industry a little bit. So when I got into real estate, I would literally be on a plane coming back from the Caribbean, and I would just be looking down. To me, this is the most visual thing. And I go, look at all of the opportunity of homes I could sell. Like, that was just the most amazing thing. Like, every one of these people at some point in the next couple of years are going to sell. How crazy is that to make it simple like that? And that's true. The question is, I got to find them. I got to talk to them. How do I get to them? And my very last marketing strategy tip is going to have a really cool tip on how I can really leverage to get to know all these people very quickly. Maybe different than what you're doing today. So here are my 7 streams that turned out that worked for me. And I want to share them so you get a sample, because I want you to record down, if you have paper, iPads, whatever you have. Think about the streams you have, but are they powerful or are they stale? Okay, and I'll be honest, the very first stream I identified as my sphere, which we all think we have a sphere, was not good. My sphere didn't produce quarterly, monthly referrals to me in the beginning. It just wasn't good. It took time to nurture them. So they were kind of a group of people I targeted, but it didn't provide enough. I had to work that system. Matter of fact, even over time, it never worked out for me. How many of you had a family member or someone that's willing to admit that bought a house through somebody else other than you? Isn't it the most painful thing in the world? Right? My own brother bought his house from something, family issues, in-law issues, whatever it is. Your sphere cannot always be relied on. Secondly, you can't always believe that they're going to remember exactly what you do, where you are, and how to get a hold of you. They think you don't cover a certain area. So sphere, we all write down so generically, but ask yourself right now, how much business is your sphere giving you, and is it strong enough to be considered a stream? Some of us, the answer might be no. But that's okay. You keep working them. Not saying you give up. You work them until they become productive. Right? You make sure you're reminding them. You're retargeting them. You're making sure you stay in front of that group. So it's not to abandon it. It's I want to make sure you have 7 positive full streams, because your business will be different. 2 was my BNI group. Back then, my BNI group was powerful. Okay? A lot of people didn't get success out of it. And there's a lot of other business groups, but here's what it was. My sphere of people were here. My BNI group were 30 members of doctors, lawyers, accountants, landscapers, all sorts of business people that normally I would never see over here in my sphere. They were a different group of people. So I said, wow, if I could do this for my BNI group or my business networking group, and yes, it's at 7 or 7:30 in the morning, and people are cranky at that hour, right? Some of us are cranky at 7:30. Somebody cranky at 1:30 right now. I can see your face like, oh my God. So I had to spend. So if I could get 2, I was getting 2 or 3 referral leads a month for my BNI group. I'm like, well, that's freaking great. Now I need to find another group of people just like that. How do I find more? And I had to just duplicate. So for me, this was mine, but I want you to think. So HTF was my Hampton Township Education Foundation. People were like, what the heck is that? I went to the school system. And I said, I got kids in school, and sure, I try to leverage what I have, but hey, what can we get involved with at the school that maybe will put me in front of a group of people, but also do a good thing at the same time? And I didn't realize we had this education foundation where we raised money for the school, and when the teachers or the kids couldn't afford a trip or a science lab project or something, we raised the money, we contributed to the school, we wrote them a check for things they wanted to do. It was a great organization. But who did that put me in front of? Parents and leadership of the school. You know how many people they know? And they're different than my BNI group, and they're different than my sphere. See how this is kind of clicking together? Now, I wasn't there with the intention of leads. I was there to be involved with more people, right? 4 was a hobby. Okay, we all have hobbies. Hopefully we have a life beyond real estate. For me, it was archery. I like to shoot 3D archery. Did it since I was a kid. Brought my kids up through it, but I had no idea. I live up in Sussex County, New Jersey, so don't hold that against me. But I like to shoot archery. So just like you'd have any other hobby. Here's what happened. For the first 2 or 3 months, I joined the Appalachian Bowmen. Men and women of all ages shooting archery with one thing in common. We all had a similar like. We trusted each other. We supported each other on Tuesday nights, and we got together on all this stuff. But here's what it did. For the first 3 months, they had no idea I was even in real estate. Because I wasn't there for that. But one day, I showed up with my branded shirt on, my branded hat on, running around, and I would rush into a meeting that I was going, and we were going to shoot, and they looked at me like, you're in real estate? I'm like, yeah, real estate a long time. The light bulb went off. There wasn't a day or a week went by that someone didn't follow me out to the parking lot and say, hey man, can we grab a cup of coffee? I got some questions about my mom's house, and maybe you can help me answer this about the underground oil tank. It became magical. And I wasn't there for that. That was another stream. That was a monthly stream of people. Because they already liked and trusted me. But it took time to be part of that group that's different than BNI, different than my sphere, different than my HTF. Sports. I don't care if you have a child, grandchildren, or don't have any at all, there's an amazing group to help. I've come full circle now. I've coached all my kids up through high school. They're at the college, and I got a younger group of kids I'm bringing back up now. So I'm back to coaching 3rd and 4th grade lacrosse. And I do that for fun. I do that because I'm passionate about it. But guess what? If I'm selling real estate today, you know what kind of group of people that is? Competitive parents. Right? If you coach soccer, be the soccer dad, be the soccer volunteer, do something. I had kids at one time. I exploited my children years ago by just putting shirts on their backs, and they had my name and brand on their backs. But you can do it so much nicer because that group of people, where I'm doing a good thing, is a whole different core group for me. I just got a lead. I haven't sold real estate actively because I do speaking, training, and coaching now for a living for the last 10 years. But I got a lead from somebody 11 years ago on Facebook on my messenger said, hey man, I need to sell my house. Can you call me? I need help. And I had to tell them I don't sell real estate anymore. From 10 or 11 years ago, they still remember from one of these groups. So it's powerful how that works. 6, I then started to strategize. I started to map out my groups of people. I had school, some sports, I had this, and I said, where do I not have? And one weak spot for me, because I am not like the political kind of guy, I had no really deep affiliation with the town itself, the township. You know, I got the fire inspector and all that stuff for my smoke certifications, but I had no real deep. So I walked in the door one day from at the time I was a brokerage owner, and I said, hey, my name's Jeff Lobb with XYZ Company. And I said, I'm looking to see how we can help, how our company can help you guys volunteer stuff that we need in the community. What do you got? Any ideas? She looked at me like I had 6 heads. You want to volunteer your help here? Turns out that we had a food drive bank for the needy, and they were looking for a food drive coordinator. I said, what's that involve? She's like, well, we're going to need a place where the consumers can bring food and drop off food and you can aggregate. So wait, you need a location, like my office? Because how many people are walking into your office at this time of day, right? Nobody. I can use my office as a drop-off location where I can meet consumers dropping off food to the food bank, and then I'll take it all to the food bank and shake hands with all the people in town. I'm in. Good. Do you know how many people I got to? We became like the party central. People started, our office was the destination. And they saw my sign, my marketing, all my stuff when they got there. And you know what? I was doing a really darn good thing because I had no idea the need was there. So now I became the person that became an advocate for helping the needy in our town. Right? And I was running a brokerage at that point. So I got involved with that stream. Last is that monster. Right there. We take it for granted, and some of us use this, and unfortunately this title right here could be a real time suck. It could be a big distraction. It could be a lot of noise. But there's some really simple, productive things we could be doing on these things to make a heck of a lot more money if you're paying attention. So I'm going to share with you some ways and kind of break it down, but I just want to make sure you kind of get the gist of streams, because before I move on to marketing and how to nurture these streams and build upon these streams, how many of you have at least 3 good ones? 3. Okay? Does anybody have 7 strong, like rockin' streams? Like, I'd be proud of it, man. 7. And if you had 7, I'll say go get one more, because it will change your business. Because what's different? If I can add more, doesn't that add more referral base for me? So you have to identify, and just get your map out. Map this out. Where are your groups of people that you communicate with, that you get steady business from? And when you don't have 7, go find them. It's a magical, magical thing. It's what turned my whole business to where I became so busy, and I'll be honest, depending on what market we were in, there were times I had 40, 50 listings of my own. I couldn't possibly even field the phone calls on a weekend, right? Because I just became a listing person at that point. Then I had no opportunity to take out buyers because there was no time in the day. So I had to build up a buyer's agent team. I needed 2 assistants. It started to domino effect very quickly, right? Anybody have 40, 50 listings other than REOs in the room right now? Imagine what that feels like, right? It's crazy. Now, a different market, understand market inventory is tight, and there's times where we didn't have it all, but this is what solves my cash flow problems. Now, how do we go from here? Let's tie in social media, because we all hear about social media, but I want to give you a couple how-tos and how to maybe leverage things and think differently when it comes to marketing around your streams, right? Social prospecting. So most of us are social savvy by now, for the most part. Some of us are intimidated by it. I say don't get intimidated. Just use it to leverage the connection to people. So I'm going to ask you all a loaded question. Once you understand why social media is so successfully addictive, you'll understand why it's powerful. And I use the word addictive because it is. It's an addiction. It generates that same hormonal release that you get from drugs and everything else. Would you guys agree that it's an addiction? Right? And there's studies showing that even our younger generation is beyond addicted. But some of us are addicted to our device. If I left my phone right now in my hotel room, I'd be having an anxiety attack right now. Like, that thing is too far away from my body. I freak out. right? I can't imagine losing it. So you'll see me check it a few times, it's just my nervous reaction. It's there. It's like my pet. So answer this question. Why is social media, though, so powerful, and why are we so addicted? Give me the reasons. Just bark them out. Is it what? Stay in the loop, right? So you're staying connected. Just say it. Validating. Validates things, yes. People are nosy, right? How about the word FOMO? Fear of missing out, right? Everyone has this magical life on social. Everyone's glamorous, and my life's terrible. Right? Because everyone's doing this, everyone's on vacation, everyone's having this great... No, you know what? Stop it. That's not how it works. We just say we're all transparent. We're all transparent. No, we're not. You don't see a video of me and my wife yelling at each other like lunatics at night. We're not posting. That's not full transparency. Let's be honest. Although that would be entertaining. So here's why. Social media is built and based because of emotion. It's an emotional play. And I'm going to prove it to you. Isn't our real estate business emotional? Totally emotional. This is why this became an addiction, became an emotion. When you guys make a post, here's your scenario. You make a post about something you're excited about. 30 seconds later, what are you doing? You're going back to look to see if you got it. You're going back to see, is that an emotional response? What are you looking for? I'm looking for validation. I'm looking to see if someone liked it. And then you go back 2 minutes later, 3 minutes later, and there's not one like, and you're like, is Facebook down? Like, you're hitting that refresh button like not one like. Does it change how you feel? Because you're there looking for something, right? And then you get likes and loves and hearts and all this other stuff that if you told me 10 years ago we'd be talking about in real estate, I'd have laughed. It was laughable. But today we live in it. You get engagement. Does it change your emotional response? It does. Change your emotional response. And then here's the extreme. Is that look. And some of you know that look from either you or your significant other. Like, when are you going to put the thing down? When does it stop? And to some of us, it doesn't. It's just, we keep hitting refresh and checking things because it can be a time suck. So I want to give you some strategies, some ways to make it productive. And the number one thing I think we need to do better is instead of talking on social a lot, we get paid to talk, is to do a better job listening. And listening, they took away the number one tool I could have ever talked about for 3 or 4 years, and some of you might know what it was. What did Facebook just take away that crushed my heart? Close? Lists. Facebook lists. And if you didn't know what the heck they were, it doesn't matter now because they're gone, but a list, you had the ability to create a list of like your past clients, and it would just filter out your past clients, so you could just look at what they're talking about. Because here's why we have to listen better. Real estate and social media have a connection that maybe you didn't realize. Real estate happens and is based around life events. Life events is what makes us buy and sell and move. Like marriage, divorce, kids, more kids, college, the snowbirds. Whatever those reasons are, that's what creates. What do people on social media talk about? Life events. Oh, my daughter's graduating. She's the last one out the door. I got this big 4-bed, 3-bath house now. What do I do? Ching, there's the ding there, like time for a phone call. These are the people that we can see their life events happening. They talk about them. So when we had lists, I just managed my list, and again, I say this because it's gone, but I managed the list, and I just put people in lists of people that I could follow and just see what they're talking about. So it would clear out all the noise. So my past client list was valuable. Every morning I just check and see what they're all doing. Like and comment on all their stuff, like I never left them. So that's gone. So what next? So you got groups of people go, oh, I'm in a bunch of groups, Jeff. I'm in groups. That's good, I got it. And if you know me, I always take something out of the box and unwrap it. We can all be in groups, and I don't care what technology or marketing, it's always how do I use it? So if I have groups, how can I use a group to my advantage? How about this? And this is hard to see, it's why you're going to get my slides. But there are groups, and some of you might be in 1 or 2, but remember, streams, get into more. Right now in my little bumpkin town of Sussex County, New Jersey, we've got groups that are titled, and I'm part of, even though I'm not selling them. Inside Frieden is one of them. Inside Frieden. 1,000 members that live in the town of Frieden, where I live. If I'm selling homes in Frieden, good stuff. Now, do I go in that group and jam away at like I'm a realtor and here's my new listing? No. But hey, you know what? Power's out. Anybody got a generator? Hey, we just lost our dog. Can people come help us look for it? Sure. Hey, I'm looking for an electrician. Anybody got a recommendation? Yeah, I'm in real estate actually. Here's our list of preferred vendors, see if that helps you out. A group of people that live in my town, you saw that geography picture before, right? They live there, they're all talking right there. And maybe they're ranting or this or that, who cares? I'm in the group so they get to know me, my name, the other group. Happenings in Newton, Stillwater, and Hampton Township, and Freedom Township, all the towns I celebrate. It's a whole group, 2,000 people in that one. 2,000 that live in the town, that are talking about the town, the school, and everything else going on. Third one, Sussex County local businesses. Local businesses, hey, I'm looking for a marketing idea. Hey, we're trying to send out postcards, you got a good vendor. And you get in there and talk and get to know each other, or stop by those, and get to meet them in person, they're your business. We never had, if you had a farm area right now of 5,000 homes, which is a pretty big farm area, how else would you get to talk to them other than door knocking and calling them? But they're all there talking. They're in groups, but you got to search for them locally based on your local communities. Search, Freedom Township something or other, Sussex County something or other, and you're going to find it from the business to the personal to the, all sorts of stuff that's going on. And I live in a small town. There's a craft and some other type of group in our area for crafters. Do I care? 600 people in it. All live in my area. They still live in, own, rent a home, have a need for stuff, and get to know me on a personal basis. So while we belong to groups all over the country, world, tips and strategies on scripts and dialogues and real estate, the focus should be really deep into your local community. We're all there. Got it? Free. Cost you nothing. Next, your business page. If I had asked you this question, it's loaded. Loaded question. Are you getting more engagement and connectivity with people on your personal page or your business? All day long. Every audience across the country, across North America. That's the answer. Here's what happens, is we've got a business page, and we were never really taught what to do with it. We just know the advantages of it. It's a public page. Someone said I need to create it. It's probably named like Jeff Lobb, real estate person, and I post my listings and stuff there. And quite frankly, not to be disrespectful, but your consumers don't care. They're not waking up and going, I'm going to go to that Jeff Lobb realtor guy Facebook page to look at that listing he got. They don't need me for that. So we do that, and I like to use the definition of insanity, which you all know, is because we know we get no results there, and we keep posting stuff there, getting the same no results. That's the definition of insanity. So your Facebook pages are insane. It makes no sense. And if you're not getting business or engagement, two choices. Stop doing them or change the strategy. I'd rather you change the strategy because I have a few strategies that I could actually use a Facebook business page to go prospect with. How many of you love to prospect? Right? You do? Awesome. We were talking about, was it Stefan this morning, the gold jackets? Walking around in gold jackets. I wore one for years. It was just a mustardy gold back then. And you saw me like a flashlight down the street. You couldn't miss my short little body with a big gold coat on it. And I knocked on doors. But I had no fear and inhibitions to do that. So the same thing's happening here. Is how do I get people to talk to? So if we stop thinking about a Facebook page as a real estate page and start thinking about it as how do I use it as a tool to connect to more people? So let me take you down this path for a second. How about a niche, or a niche if you want to call it that? These are some small samples, but I'm going to turn up the notch for really aggressive ones. Like the Tampa Real Estate Investment is the name of the page. It's not the Jeff Lobb Real Estate Guy. And they have a topic and theme of real estate investments in Tampa. If that's your thing, and that's in your wheelhouse, you're talking about investment properties and flipping and raising money and all sorts of stuff involving that. So it became a niche page. Right? Does it have to? What if it was just for kicks? Anybody love, recipes, cooking? Right? What if I had a page just on recipes and cooking? I'm making this up. In my local area, I started a recipe sharing swap club. But I could get 800 people on there that swap and talk about recipes all day long. Does that matter? All I want to do is connect to more people. Right? They all live and own and rent a home. They all have a need and have other family members that buy and sell homes. I just want to connect to more people. Another example, 365 Cranford Westfield. 365 things happening every day in and out of your town and your community. So they built community pages geared towards information about what's happening downtown. Now, some of you may know this guy. I had the pleasure of being asked to speak at his event last year in Miami, Agent 2021. And Gary Vee, anybody Gary Vee fans in the room? Few? You know, if you're not, you go see Gary, just warning, little warning, he's very little foul, a little loose with his mouth. But 2016, we were down at Inman Connect, San Francisco. He spoke, he did the keynote, I spoke before him, and I was sitting next to, by default, his video guy, D-Rock, which is just his video guy. And he said something, and he's not in the real estate space at all. Never sold real estate, doesn't. But when he said something that I've been doing even before Facebook was born, the bell went off for all of us. He said, if you want to own your town in today's world, with today's consumer, you need to become the digital mayor of your town. Right? Remember that. So when he said that, I knew what that meant. And not only did I know what it meant, I used to do it. I just did it differently before Facebook was born. When he meant digital mayor, what does that mean to some of you? Does that mean like I got to run around with a video person all day long? Maybe a little bit. You got to be the connected person, the one that gets to know. Because remember, whether we like it or not, this social media thing, it's not about whether you like it or whether you want to use it. It's where your consumers are, and it's where they're going to be with or without you. Right? It's just like I think Stefan said this morning. I tell the story all the time about BlackBerry. How many of you had a BlackBerry? Best device ever back in the day, right? The best keyboard. I don't want to give up my keyboard. I don't want to go to something that's touch screen. Try zooming in on a photo or video with that thing. What did BlackBerry say? We love our product. We're not going to change it. What did the consumer say? We want a visual product. We want better photos and videos. And we went with iPhones and Androids. And where did BlackBerry go? Right out the door. So it's the same choice we have in real estate. You could be on social. You could be in social, but that's where your consumers are today. And I'm going to make a bet if I stand here 3 years from now, they're moving somewhere else too. It may not be Facebook in 3 years. It'll be Instagram. If it's not Instagram, it's going to be the next thing. Our job is to be adaptable, just like we adapted from the real estate book to the magazine to an online internet thing, right? It moves. So here's the digital mayor. Before I show you the extreme of this, here's how I prospected before Facebook, and here's how I do it today. Because someone says to me all the time, Jeff, if I dropped you in the middle of Denver, Colorado, and you knew nothing, how would you start selling real estate? I mean, there's a whole bunch of probably legal things I would do, but the first thing to start prospecting is I created a Facebook business page that would say facebook.com/best of whatever, downtown Denver, living in downtown Denver. And not only just I have a community page, because that doesn't really make me business, posting stuff about the community. That's just posting stuff. I want to talk to the people of the community. So here's how I would use it. Here's my script for it, and it would be the best of or whatever it is. And this is what I did 17 years ago with a pizzeria in my own backyard, but I did it on a blog. Walked into the pizzeria. Hey, my name is Jeff Lobb. I think at the time I read it with 3Max. I'm with 3Max. We just put together a Facebook page. It's talking about all the best of living in Hampton Township. And you guys do a great job from pizza to catering. I've had your food before. I would love to promote your business on my Facebook page to all my real estate clients. My real estate clients are always asking me about where they should go. I want to promote you guys. I think you do a great job. Would you mind if I took pictures and some video later when you're done so I can promote you guys? Would you be okay with that? Think about that. What am I doing? That's prospecting, isn't it? I'm creating a handshake. I want to get to know Mike. I want to get to know his wife. Do you know how many people in my farm area walk through their doors and they deliver pizza to on a daily basis? I farmed a 300-unit townhome section, which was kind of small, but it was my bread and butter. Meaning people were first-time home buyers in there, they'd have a few babies, couldn't fit in there, I moved them up to a 4-bedroom home. Like I said, who serves all of these areas? Where do they go? Remember that picture I just showed you? Where do they go? So the pizzeria, what do you think the pizzeria guy says? I just offered to help him and promote his business on my page for my clients. I'm not asking for anything. What's the answer? Well, his real answer was, that sounds great, how much? He was a tough guy, pizzeria guy. How much? I'm like, no. Dude, I said, and then here's the answer. No, I still have a lot of homes in the area, Mike. And I'm always referring people. I created a page to talk about the best things in Sussex. I want you to be one of the best. I'm going to go find some other people that do a great job. And I want to promote you all to my clients. Are you okay with that? He was like, that's freaking awesome. Yeah, let's do it. I took my pictures with my iPhone. Well, this is before that. Take my pictures. And you've seen some pages like this, but I want the picture of me and him and his wife and the family. Like, I want to get to know them. Do you know how many people, to say how many other people I did this with, But that one relationship has got to be almost 17 years to this day. They still own the pizzeria in my town. They still deliver to my house. We've done, because they were young, they just got into the business. We got them into the baseball league where they started being the professional caterers for the baseball league. Who do you think did joint marketing with them? Me. Who did the special joint marketing stuff when they had weddings and catering stuff? Me. We became connected because he appreciated it. I just offered to help him. I just offered help, right? And I did that post. So now, I do that. Could that post also turn into a little bit more savvier? And I don't want to intimidate some of you, but it could easily be a video. Hey, Mike, how's it going? Like, tell me about your business. How long you in the business? The goal is you network. And then you stop back there for lunch and you take pictures of the cannolis and, hey, I'm at one of my favorite, stops. You start doing that. Where else do the community people go in your neighborhood you could do that with? Think about it. And I'm talking think deep. Where do the kids go? Karate studio. You think they can use a little extra promotion? The dance studio. Where else? What was that one? Coffee shops. Oh, coffee shops are a home run. Right? Where do your people go? Yes, right? Good. Dog stores, pets. You walk in with that script. I built a page that's talking about the best of or living in, and I want to promote your business to my clients. Would you mind if I took some pictures, got a chance to interview with you a little bit? After everyone's said and done, this is how I would build my page. The page is a vehicle to that conversation. Right? Here's the extreme now. Can I show you the extreme where people are going with it? Because there are people that love this idea so much, they took it to let's do video now. Let's make this I'm going to be that digital mayor. So if you haven't seen Frez Yes is out in Fresno, California. The guy you're going to see, and I'll only play it for a couple seconds, but go to his page. He is the broker owner of a real estate company, but he is known as that's the guy, right? Here's a quick clip.
I'm back in downtown Fresno today. I'm trying barbecue. And let's face it, we're Fresno, so this is Tri-Tip. Today, I have the treat of trying the People's Choice of the Tri-Tip Throwdown, just the tip. Let's do this. I'm Jason Ferris, owner of Fresno Realty, and I've lived in Fresno all my life. Join me as I visit some of the best food spots 559 has to offer. This is Fresno Flavor.
So he creates Fresno Flavor. Now it's going to be a whole, almost like a mini HGTV show. Think about this for a second. Do you think he got some notoriety by doing that kind of little video? The video might have cost him $500, $800 for the day, or whatever it is. Do you think that got some mileage? With him being the owner of a brokerage, not only promoting it, what do you think Tri-Tip did with that video?
Share it.
You got it. And he became the main character. When that goes to YouTube and Facebook, what's the cost to market that? Nothing. Costs nothing to market it. YouTube's free. Facebook's free. The content was making him that local expert. All on the same Facebook page that we all have. Oh, I got one of those, Jeff. Okay. What are you doing with it? Nothing. I got my page. The same page you have, he has. It's what he's doing with it that makes the difference. And you don't have to be the extreme. It could be a simple photo and a post. Here's one of my let me go back. Here's one of my coaching clients. This guy right here. So Echo Fine Properties is a coaching client of mine down in Jupiter, Florida. We started talking about this after one of the Inman events we were doing. He's like, Jeff, I heard you talk about this stuff. I want to execute it. I got 40 agents. Let's start doing it. So they first started off with just their iPhone and taking photos, and then some of the agents were getting a little savvy. Some started doing pages that were called Keeping It Local Jupiter, and she was down there interviewing the French restaurant guy and the dog walker. Think about that, the dog walker in Florida. Do you know how many people a dog walker knows? And she's like, I want to promote your dog walking service to all my real estate clients. Are you okay with that? She's like, yes. And they do little video snippets, because guess what? When she takes that dog walker video post, what's the dog walker going to do? Post it everywhere. It's free promotion for her. Who's walking in their door saying, I want to help promote your business, I'll even take pictures for you, and I'll do it for free. So we have to learn that marketing today is different. And it's still not costing you a heck of a lot of money. So this guy, you'll see his name is Mike, young guy doing this interview. He did one of his, we were just taking agents and testing this stuff. He interviewed this guy, and I'll tell you the story right after he's done. It's a little bit long, I'm going to cut it short, but I want you to get the gist of one solo operation entrepreneur he came up with saying, hey, I think this guy would be a good connection for me. Watch who he knows.
This is Brian Smalley with Echo Fine Properties down here in sunny South Florida. I'm here with my good friend Sean Mosley with S&A Mobile Detailing. Sean, tell me a little bit about yourself. What got you into this business?
I started this business almost 10 years ago. I saw that there was a need for people who really have a desire for having their vehicles professionally auto detailed, their homes pressure cleaned, and they wanted the top-notch customer service. And that's what we love to provide to customers throughout Palm Beach County. We want to bring the best service, the best customer service, and to see the customer satisfied is what we desire. We do a wide range of things. We do automobiles, we do recreational vehicles, we do boats, we do planes, we clean homes, roofs, we do large contracts, big commercial vehicles. We also do tile and grout. We're going to expand to carpet cleaning soon. Back when I first started, I was young. I didn't really know too much about it. I did do a lot of studying of the understanding of what detailing really meant.
Sure.
And then I came across someone, as you all may know, his name is 50 Cent. And I did about 3 of his vehicles down at his office down in Boca. They have a company called SMS Headphones. And he has some very nice exotic type of vehicles that I did so he can have them ready for a photo shoot. But I did tell the Ferrari 458 California edition. I did a Lamborghini Aventador, which is very nice. And I take pride in all of the work that I do.
So think about this for a second. Here's Brian, an agent that's probably 2 years in the business, starts going out to find businesses for his page, talks with this guy. This guy is thrilled to death because he's a one-man show out there, does this promotional piece. Do you think this gentleman knows a few people in the business that have at least some referral business potentially, right? So here's what happened, and I can't even take credit for this because I didn't tell him to do this, although I told him to make the post. This happened by accident. Echo Fine Properties created the post, got it done. This gentleman took it, pushed it to not only his business page, but when he sent it on his personal page, he tagged all his friends and family. And they took it and pushed it to the universe. It had 123 shares in the first 15 hours and over 3,000 views in less than a day. Now remember, who's featured in that video? I am Brian Smalley with Echo Fine Properties. I'm your local real estate. So it's in everything. So this gentleman took it as, wow, this is amazing. So I talked to Brian because I talk to their team once a month. And this guy, about 6 or 8 months later, started using it so much that he got so busy, had to hire a second guy and get a second machine to start doing more business. So do you think he's pretty happy with Brian doing a little interview thing, right? That cost maybe a couple $100. So this is all done is on a business page with the same platform you all have. It's what you do with it that matters, right? To me, those just as simple as it could be, use it as a prospecting script and help build the community. Now, I make this quote because I really want to make sure you hear this clearly, not make the same mistake that most people will do. It's never about the post, you heard me say it, it's about the people in the post. What I mean by that is so many people are going to go, I create a community page, and I'm going to post about this cool restaurant and this cool thing. I'm not saying it's not going to work, but the goal is to meet the people. Introduce yourself of the value proposition of the people, not just make posts, right? That's easy. You can hire people to do that. The goal is to use it to go connect to people. Right? I have people making this mistake all the time. Would I be doing that? 100%. That would be the core of what I do. And I'd be creative. I'd be the digital mayor, I promise you. And it wouldn't take a lot long to do it because we don't have to pay. Look, back in my days, I paid $1,000, $1,500 a month for a 30-second spot on TV commercials that I did. Right? I drove around with a wrapped car that cost me a couple grand to get my advertising out there. The cost of YouTube, Facebook, and all this other stuff is free. So I could do this in a much more powerful way. And this is why we have young kids, teenagers, making millions on YouTube and Instagram because they're pushing out content and getting eyeballs. This is real estate content getting consumer eyeballs. Okay? You don't have to go crazy, start simple. Make sense? My best prospecting idea ever is to use your Facebook business page. All right. What else can we do to nurture your stuff? And I was talking to someone earlier about AdWorks and some retargeting. I just want to give you a different spin of retargeting because I think a lot of people just use it and don't use it properly. How many of you are using a retargeting platform out there generating? Okay, how many need the definition of what retargeting is? I'm okay with that too. Awesome. Okay, retargeting simple. You're shopping online. You're looking for a new pair of Cole Haans, and you didn't buy them. Guess what happens the next two years of your life? Who's following you around on the web, right? Cole Haan. Cole Haan. I'm on Facebook. There's Cole Haan, right? They're following you around. And that used to cost a small fortune. Small fortune to have that kind of advertising. Today, and I'm talking about things that I use right now. I use it for my business too. I use AdWorks because they have a retargeting platform where I can retarget my clients. I can retarget people by zip code. and I can retarget and promote my listing across multiple platforms. Let me share how that works. So for example, I create an ad, and I'm going to show you that, but I'm going to skip forward 2-3 slides because I want to show you that there's 3 platforms, and I'll go back. There's an ad campaign. I can have an ad created for my sphere, which means any group of emails. Anybody have a list of emails? Past clients, leads, right? My past clients, a lot of times, they don't get to see me that often. I can create an ad. I upload my past client list into that, and my ad will follow them around on the web on major sites like CNN, the Weather Channel, CSNBC. Now, how do you think I even feel when I see this stuff here? Watch. Here's my ad. Someone's searching on Amazon, and hey, there's that Jeff Lobb guy. And then they're checking the Weather Channel with the hurricane coming in. Hey, there's that Jeff Lobb guy again. On the Weather Channel. You think I could pay and afford to do that normally? I'm following them based on a sphere campaign, meaning it tracks their email, finds them, and then targets them, and puts your ad in front of them wherever they go. On mobile, on desktops, everywhere. Now, that sounds cool and all, but most of us think it's some kind of a lead gen magic point. It's not lead generation. Let me just be clear. It's branding. But think about this. It's my branding and perception. I just told you I spent thousands for a billboard and TV commercials, and I got an ROI out of it because people say, I see all over the place. That's like me having 40, 50 signs in my marketplace. When you get to see me, what's the perceived value of seeing me on these sites in front of that client? Then you run into them 3 months later. Like, oh my God, I see you all over the place. What the hell are you doing, right? It makes it set like boom. That's retargeting. What if you had an old list of Zillow leads you haven't ever gotten a call back from? That could be my sphere too. My favorite one though, and I'll show you, is ads for listings. Here's the problem, here's the solution. Ads for listings, meaning I got a listing, you put it out there, and that listing gets promoted with your name and face across those platforms. And I'm talking major websites on Google. And then 6 months or 3 months goes by and you go, oh, I don't know if I got a call from it. Having this strategy session earlier with someone in the room today, I said, here's what I would do with that. Remember I told you I unbox everything and make something sexy out of it? I would take every day, AdWorks, or every couple days, AdWorks sends me a screenshot of where that home was displayed on which major sites. So like it'll show me the picture of it being on USA Today, and the picture of it being on CNBC. I would take at least 4, if not 5 of those screenshots from one listing, and that would be on every listing presentation I went into, say, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner, here's the power of marketing we have with your home. We're going to get you on sites like this homeowner, on this site, this site, this site. As a matter of fact, what they don't know is when you do get a listing, their email address goes into the retargeting too, and they start seeing their own home pop up on all these sites thinking you're just some magician paying for a ridiculous amount of advertising. I said, for me personally, I think whatever it is, I pay $80 or $100 a month, whatever it is, I would pay that just to get listings and win listings all year long. To me, that tool is worth, besides me being branded and perceived in the marketplace, right? If I'm a brokerage owner, which I've held those positions, this sphere campaign, I would have 100 agents identified of who I want to talk to. They would not be able to get rid of my smiley face every day. They'd be browsing anything. And now here I am. Boom, it's me again. They can't take me off. They can't hide my ad. They can't get rid of my ad. I am there because I'm targeting them. So that's how retargeting works. These are the platforms and places you can get. So here, the problem with it all is just people like put something in, go, 6 months, I didn't get nothing, I'm going to cancel it. It's stuck. Okay, do that. Because I'm going to take it, I'm going to use it to go win listings, and I'm going to use it for recruiting tools, because I see the value and the homeowner sees the value. That's the magic for me. These are the stats I got here. So somebody like this one ad here, and I'll tell you how I use it just to be transparent. I speak at real estate associations, right? I get a list of emails from associations. I take my ad talking about, do you need a speaker for your event? And all the emails, all the marketing people of all the associations start seeing my mugshot popping up all over the place because I'm targeting them based on their email address. So think about this, a side note. It used to be a phone number is the most important thing to get out of people. What is it today? It's email now. Email between the big data, predictive data companies like First.io and all the predictive stuff tracks everything and predicts everything based on your email address. It finds your social profiles, it finds your financial data, it finds your buying habits, it tracks your life events, and eventually comes up with something that says, hey, out of your 500 people, these 5 are getting ready to do something. Something's up. So as the future moves on and technology gets better, email. Don't lose your emails and lose them on sticky notes. Stuff like this and retargeting all day long exists today. I use it, I know it works. Listing appointments, that's the winner right there. Every listing appointment. Good? Good, okay. So back to this again. There's my snapshot. My love of real estate. So if I drew this up and said, okay, Jeff, you're a brand new agent, go farm that area. Most agents are, all right, so I'm either door knocking, I'm getting a tax record list, I'm going to walk some streets, I'm going to find a neighborhood coffee shop. What other cool strategies are there? And I'm not saying there's a magic bullet, because I don't ever believe there is one. There's work involved. But there's sometimes a mesh of tech and marketing that can make this a heck of a lot easier. And yes, sometimes it costs a couple bucks too. But I'm going to share with you a few. So for me, this company's been around a while. Cole Resources, Cole Realty Resource, right? It's been around a while. They used to be in a book. It used to be a book of data, and it would get people's addresses and phone numbers and all stuff like that. But it was never developed. Well, I ran into him last year. Started saying, hey, show me more of the data I can get so that I can target this. And what happens now in their platform, and again, not super cheap, but here's the way I look at this. Oops, my bad. Is I can do a query and search by a radius around a property, or I can do a zip code, whatever. Now it's starting to give me, obviously, people's names and addresses. Then I would say probably 40 or 50% of phone numbers, either a home phone or now a cell phone number, and then obviously an email address. Think about that. So I got some people that want to, there's feel a little whine or have something to say about it. Oh, it's only 40, 50%. I'll go, okay. How many of those you have now? How many phone numbers do these people you have right now? None. Okay, so I'll take 40%. I'll take 60% of their email addresses, because I don't have that either. Right? It's a start. So I get that kind of data. Now I've got phone numbers, and I've got email addresses. Now what? Well, I could obviously put them into an email campaign and spam the heck out of them with my newsletter stuff. Probably not going to be the most successful. So my brain goes, okay, what can I do with phone numbers? What can I do with emails? So I take it, and I'll show you this in a second. I go to how many of you used slide dial before? Maybe you've heard slide dial for years, right? Person you don't want to talk to. If you don't know about it, write it down, slide dial. Slide broadcast is the same company. I could take those 500 phone numbers that were in that farm area, put them into slide broadcast, and for literally, I don't know, 10 bucks or 20 bucks for 500, leave a specific voicemail on all of their cell phones or home phones or whatever phones they have with, hey, it's Jeff Lobb from XYZ Realty. I've got 3 qualified buyers that are looking to be in your market. If you know anybody or if you're thinking about selling, please let me know. The buyers want your town. And then boom. That gets delivered in about 3 minutes. And you only pay for what gets delivered. It doesn't ring. Bypasses the ring. So, could I market to 500 phone numbers? How else would you market to 500? You'd have to sit and dial and leave voicemails. How many hours would that take you? I can leverage technology and have that done probably about 10 minutes at a cost of about 10 bucks. I'm okay with that. That's cheaper than postcards. Next, what else can I do? Joops. I hate the spelling of this one. Joops. Joopz. Joops will let you take those phone numbers and it will let you send text message out to the group in group format, and will give you a completely different phone number, dashboard, and communicate in the same platform. Hey, it's Jeff Lobb. I got a buyer in your area that's qualified, ready to purchase next 30 days, thinking about selling, or know anybody that's selling, please let me know, text message. Sends it out in broadcast form. Also, inexpensively. Okay, the most expensive part, obviously, is the getting the data. They give me a coupon code for you guys. That you can, again, I'm going to give you the slide deck. I think they charge about $1,500 for the year for unlimited amounts of downloads of all the data and areas you want. But they say take $500 off when you use my name or whatever landing page. So if it was about less than $1,000 a year, it's probably about $80 a month. But that's unlimited downloads of unlimited data in all areas. If you want to farm seriously or have a team or want to share, however you guys want to do it, download away, because it's going to give you the data for any zip code. If you're going to hold an open house, pick 100 people around it, 200 people around it, voice broadcast to them, send them a text message. Boom, done. And last, when you get all the emails. I got the emails, right? So I got all the emails from my farm area. What did I just say I could do on AdWorks? I could upload them all into AdWorks or into my Facebook and create an ad just for those people. Just for those email addresses in my farm. You will know me and see me on a daily and weekly basis, I promise you, because I'm going to target you. That's how you take old school marketing and take it to new school technology, because none of this stuff means anything to me unless I know how to use it to make my phone ring, win a listing, or generate some more buyer leads I can go sell. That's the only thing I want to talk about, stuff that makes us money. So that helps solve the farming problem. Live broadcast, you do one, the other, do none, but I know that there's some teams and some aggressive producers doing this on a weekly basis, bar none. All right, I got a bonus for you guys. Got time for a bonus? Ooh, good, 5 minutes. I always love to give you something. Besides giving you my slides, I want to give you another value add for having me in this year. Hopefully come back next year if I'm invited back. I want to talk about photos real quick, and I'm going to give you some money at the end you can go spend. But I'm still shocked at the photos that still exist in our social media world and in your MLS. Right? This dude didn't get out of the car. They're like, not even like, just still got the window going, right? Like, good job, 6%. I want 6% for this creative marketing strategy, right? And then the best one, this was a live picture on the MLS in Louisiana. Louisiana? Here we go. Boom. I'm not sure if that was just disclosure, like scared to death you had to put it there, just in case they showed up. So I never want you to replace your photographers. You have some professional photographers that do an amazing job. And you pay them for their this and that, but there are also some things that you can do beyond what they give you, or if you don't have professional photography. And I want to help you with that. And our friends at Box Brownie have been doing a really good job, and I'm going to share with you some of the things they can do as they've evolved even more the past couple of weeks. They've added a few new features I didn't know about. And I just thought of something else I could share with you. So Box Brownie. So hard to see on the screen, but basically you take a regular photo and make it a twilight photo. Then you send it to them, they make it magic happen and send it back to you like in a day or so. Right? Costs you a couple bucks. For the most part. I don't know the prices. Here's the thing. We used to say marketing had to be eye-catching material, eye-stopping material. I'm going to change that. It's now thumb-stopping. If you think about it, you have about 3 seconds to stop my thumb. And if you have even a teenager or a grandchild, it's even quicker than that. But when we scroll through Zillow, a consumer, and I'm doing that, that very first photo is what's going to get my attention. I'm not saying you do this with every photo. What I'm saying is it better be something that goes, wow, what's that? So when you take something like, this is where I would leverage the guys at Box Brownie. You could do virtual staging, have nothing in the room, they'll put stuff in the room, they'll put barbecues out back for you, and of course disclose it's virtually staged, so when they show up and there's nothing there, they don't think they got robbed, right? So, virtually staging. To me, some of my favorites, they can do image enhancements. Again, hard to see through the projector, but this kind of stuff to adding real clouds and in-depth color, adding sunlight in the backdrop. This was like $1.60, that was like $4. Day to dusk comparisons. Like, to me, that's the front photo on my open house flyers, the stuff that I put on my Instagram. Those pictures make sense. Here's something, and again, I apologize. Remove clutter. Clutter makes me nuts, right? They can take clutter off the counters and give you without clutter. And then a special project is, hey, I love this kid's room, but what if it was a bedroom? They'll make it look like a bedroom going, here's a before and after. Now, I have pictures, and I have a client that does a whole bunch of REO properties. He just won a large REO bid from a company, and what he took was, he took these 3 really bad, or if you want the photos, I'll share them with you, 3 really bad, dilapidated REOs. And he had Box Brownie, it was probably a couple bucks, maybe $100, spent it to what would this house look like, completely renovated, the right colors, the right shingles, the same house, it looks identical, done. Here's this, and they do renovation loans. So now they do REOs, they got the mortgage guy do renovation loans, they package it to an REO group, and they're like, this is the best stuff we've seen in a long time. How do we hire you to do this? And all it was these guys making it look pretty and having the right product of a renovation loan to do that. So people are very visual today. Very, very visual in conversation, right? So that's the magic of that. I'm going to give you all, if you haven't tried it, they give me full permission to give you guys $20 each. You go to their website, there's no conditions, no you got to do this. Just use my code, SparkTank. I'm SparkTank Media. Use SparkTank. It's a $20 credit to spend and try. You go check those guys out. Okay, it's definitely fun. I love to give away stuff at the end. Whoop, did you get that picture? Did you get it there? Now, get your phones ready. You want my slides? Anybody want my slides? No? You want? You know. All right, here, my slides. So, it's hard to read. All right, so use your phone. This is the phone number I want you to send a text to. Text to the phone number 973-425-5105, and you just have to text your email address. You will get the PDF file of every slide. It may take, I tested it earlier, it took a few minutes of delay in this room with marketing and technology, with Verizon signal, whatever it is. Just text to this number your valid email address so we can get it to you, and I'll be happy to share it with you. But listen, I hope I shared a few good things with you today. I'm all about helping you guys make more money. I'm here if I can help. My name is Jeff Lobb, SparkTank Media. It's been a pleasure. Thank you guys for having me.